Okay, so it's been a very positive experience. First of all, calling it the College of Lived Experience is really smart. I was sold from the title, so I thought that was really ingenious. It's been an opportunity to really connect with other patients and caregivers from across Ontario with very different experiences than my own. And I've really appreciated that. So the effort to get a diversity is great, and I think I've really benefited from that. I think that part of the experience is probably what has been the most impressive to me, was just getting together with those people. And when we do have meetings, I look forward to who's going to show up and what I'll learn from those people, because it's just really interesting. I think what's different for me is that you take an organization like Clinical Trials Ontario, which has a very broad mandate and a very important mandate for clinical trials, something that's very important to me. Clinical trials have been life transforming for me. And instead of saying, let's get a few patient partners on board and let's engage with those people, over and over again, that you've created this group of who you aptly call the College of Lived Experience. And that is quite different, because often there's two patient partners. Sometimes you're the only lonely patient partner, which is really a bad practice. Or there could be three, but it's rare that you have the opportunity to engage with as many people as we have, and with different areas of engagement that will suit your interests. So really interesting that way. I think, again, the plurality of voices is really important. I think the fact that the other thing that's different is that the college is led by and inspired by a person who is a patient partner herself. So this partner is a peer, is someone who understands what it is, what it's like for us to engage. And so that really does set the tone. And I think that, the quality of the interactions is at a very high level. So whenever there's an opportunity to engage, it's explained very clearly. It'll say exactly what they're looking for. Like, if you come to the meeting, there's really no surprises. You know what they're going to ask you. You have a chance to think about it too. And then there's compensation, which is just wonderful. And then the resources is basically the materials to prepare you. A person who you can contact at any time and say, I don't really understand this question, or I don't really understand why we're doing that, and who's going to answer you in language that you understand. So that's really important. And then also the follow-up. So in one of the projects, which was a group who asked the college to facilitate the engagement, I know that Dawn, stressed to them that people want follow-up, and I actually received a personal card to my home with a note in it, and we do see the results, and we do see the impact, and I think that means a lot to me also. So, well, I'd like people to look at the Clinical Trials Ontario example and try to understand the impact of what they've done. So clinical trials, are for patients. We are the end users, but there's so much else that goes into the clinical trial enterprise that sometimes the patients are kind of left behind. And for me, there were a lot of really emotional meetings where, I participated in a longitudinal study from the age of 8 to 18. That was very intense, like lots of appointments and follow-up. And then I also participated in other smaller trials, and then a really big one when I was almost 40, where I had to travel from Ottawa to Toronto for. Never has anyone asked me for my input about, what I think could be done to improve the patient experience. And at times I found myself to be quite emotional because I thought, after all these years and all these experiences, finally someone has decided that, hey, let's listen to the people who are the ones who make these trials happen by participating in them. And I don't think anyone should underestimate the impact of that. For me personally, and I'm hoping for Clinical Trials Ontario.